Alright guys, welcome to a special edition of the Kisiangani podcast. Today I'm hanging out with the Duck himself. Unasema hii ni one man show you guys.
Hey, man, that's actually the Duck.
The Duck.
Ukisema hivyo what comes in mind ni Donald Duck. Man,
the doctor, man. But karibu sana, my guy, man.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I've delayed you. Your producer, editor, lights guy.
It's a one-man operation.
Maze, you guys, man.
You guys are the people like you're the leading cause of unemployment.
Where?
You're doing 18 people's job.
Actually, I'm a producer, but he was late, so
your producer, as in, why do you even need him? Come on, even if he doesn't come, the show goes on.
You guys, that guy called me at 2 asking me what time you're coming. Na korongai. Cheki aje Kings anakamza ngapi? Cheki si nilikwambia 3.
No,
so mimi nikamza ngapi? Nikamuuliza wewe unakuja saa ngapi wewe?
No. Yeah? In Rongai the question shouldn't even be ati nakuja saa ngapi, it should be nakuja when. It's in Rongai he shouldn't be planning for today. Man.
So you guys but he helps out when he can, but I don't mind also doing this thing.
No, by the way, Mr. Producer, I'm not trying to get you fired.
No. I don't mind doing some of these things, and he'll come later on. Yeah. No, but Karibu, it's been a while since we hung out.
Asante sana mazi.
Tambo used to really hang out pale Scoops tukiandika mistari.
Mazi, hata before Scoops wakati you used to be the expert in salvage cars. You remember?
Oh yeah, man. How many things have I done in my life, you guys?
Hey, Maze, but you are too ambitious. Maze, you could buy a wheelbarrow and convince someone that this is a W211.
There's another day you asked me very curiously, Chiki Manu, you don't spend kutengeneza hii gari. Siri tu buy gari pia.
Hey, Maze, you remember your Benz yenye, if someone so if you ile Benz yenye iko na flow.
Ilikuwa na flow ni
unakaidi ukiwa. Man.
But hiyo Benz ilikuwa there was something you had to finya huko nyuma ndio wake. Kulikuwa na relay switch fulani.
Manzi.
So kabla washo unaenda nyuma unafinya.
Unaweza acha viatu kwa hayo. Manzi lazima you pull over. You wait for traffic ishuke ndio uchukue viatu.
No, but I used to enjoy fixing those cars. It's just something I love doing.
But Boulevard, you stopped?
Yeah, I stopped. I haven't done it for a while.
Yeah. Boulevard did you bad? Ile siku maji ilikuja ikakujazia.
Sunset Boulevard.
You remember?
Ati what happened?
Yeah, ati the flooding.
Yeah,
like found your car iko na.
Should I sort that thing for you?
No, it's okay. Ile the flooding that you found your car halfway filled with water.
Submerged, maze.
I think, and that time people used to say you had money, so that was your first yacht.
You guys was moving on up in life. You guys.
Okay.
Checking out my boat, iko pale at the river.
But did you used to turn a profit on those salvage cars?
No, some were profitable, some were not. Actually, sold Eric Omondi one of my salvages. Unajua hivyo?
Hey.
Yeah. I recommend his first Benz.
The black one?
No. That was his second Benz. The grey one. He had a grey Benz. A KZ flani. It was one of my success stories kwa your salvage business. Ilikuwa safi. Alibuy cash you guys. Those Eric nimezikula you guys.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
So have you been? And I was telling you off camera that you have some very interesting guests up Weekend Edition. But
thank you. That's kind of feedback.
Like they're not regular guys. Like is that something you thought of consciously ama kuliendaje?
No, not necessarily. I think the show built itself. It has a life of its own. And it's been interesting that for the time that we've been doing that show, have shared common interests and common. I'm a curious person, and I think that's something I've shared with the audience and the people who watch the show. So we find that most of the time we think of something that people will be interested in knowing. It turns out to be something that actually people are interested in. Yes.
Do you remember back in the day, tukio hizo, when you'd come to Kanye once in a while, ukisema you want to have your own show on TV?
Manzi.
Yeah,
Manzi. By the Scoops was before the Wicked Edition was
Yeah,
on TV.
way before. So
Yeah,
you used to say, hey,
yeah.
mano, mimi nataka tu kukuwa na show yangu maze kwa TV bana.
Yeah.
So mimi nilikuwa tu nakuangalia you guys. Shike mimi.
Ulikuwa unani doubt?
Siko na kudoubt because I was respecting your ambition. But do you feel like do you remember those days? Like, do you feel like you're living the dream?
About living the dream, I think I'm becoming a fan. I'm growing. I'm not even growing. I've always been a fan of the process. And it's interesting to watch some of these things unfold. I think, to be specific, there are things that I'd love to do. Like there's levels I'd like to get to as a comedy writer, as a comedy performer and stuff. So the things that we see are part of that. So first of all, I have to say I celebrate the wins and I enjoy them so much.
Wicked has been running for how long?
This is the 7th year. Why would you?
Okay. 7 years, you guys.
This is the 7th year, yes.
Yeah, you guys, congrats on that.
So this is what Kibe does. So one of these ndio anakuanga ameka hooks.
Yeah, hii kitu iko na vitu weird, iko na so you can program this thing. Wake up your own things away. If you want to wake up whips and stuff.
You have whips too?
No.
Okay.
That guy has colonized whips, so hakuna haja whips, you guys. So, I remember Nani ndio aliku. I know you've told this story 1,000 times, but maybe because I'm an insider, I'm also really curious. Yeah. Had you shared that story of wanting to do a program on TV with Larry Madowo?
Yes, I did. And my story is very interesting. As much as I've shared it, one thing I've learned is that I stand on the shoulders of very many giants, and very many people have contributed to the process of how I am where I am today. And as the journey continues, I get to meet new people who, when we get together, we get to different heights. Every time I have a conversation, I always, let's say after this podcast, I was like, oh, so-and-so really came through for me. And I didn't even mention them. I didn't even get to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a product of a collaboration of very many people. Larry was a link between me and the Wicked Edition. But behind that, we also have Heartstrings Entertainment, Kina Sami Mwangi, Kina Ndenga, Kina Tosh, Kina Lau, Kwach. It was a whole team, right? Before that, we have Kazungu Matano, Captain Otoyo, who was Captain Otoyo, and interestingly, Obina also played a role in a bit. There's a place that really Obina's link mattered so much.
Able to answer now, Otos, Otos, what happened with Otoyo?
Otoyo was given a show at Nation, and he was like, we'll need comedy writers. Who do I know who can write comedy in a way that it can be presented nicely? And at that time, Obina and Otoyo had been given the show as co-hosts.
Ile show yao?
Yes. Alafu wakaniita, mimi nikaita Desagu. Yes.
Hey, Sugar, nilikuwa nimesahau your story, you guys. Hey, Sugar, how old are you guys? You guys, you've done many. So nakumbuka hiyo story. Hapo ndio ulikuwa unachapa hiyo character yako ya reporter.
Yes. Hapo ndio tulikuwa na reporter.
And that was way before now you started hanging out with Kina Larry,
Yeah, that was way before. That was way before. Way before. But my story started with sasa tunaona like it's a whole new process. Kuna the first lady to link me up with a stand-up comedy gig. Ni dem anaitwa Fidelis. She used to be in an Airtel advert. Most people would remember her for that. We met up in GBS. So at a GBS tena, if I was to go back to GBS, we have a host of other people.
GBS ile
yes. That's where I started.
GBS?
In 2010, yes. In a comedy competition.
My dad had a show at GBS, you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but ilikuwa inaitwa the Professor Chris Wanjala show. You guys ilikuwa boring, you guys.
Are you saying that your dad doesn't watch your podcast? You can't give your father feedback like that.
No, he does, you guys. So maybe anasikia hiyo feedback in the buy and buy
kwa hati yako.
No, but it was
so boring. That's even worse because he's watching you from above, man.
No, but it was him. Like you see him, he's a lecturer. He was a lecturer. And he was just doing it. He wasn't this flamboyant presenter.
But you know, Sasa, here's a problem. When you mention your father, we've always thought that Professor Kisiangani is your dad, ni vile you are in denial. Like you want to create your own niche kivyako. So I always thought by the I would confront you about that, because I'm like, what are the odds that your father is a professor and your father is called Kisiangani?
No, my father is called Wanjala.
No, you are called Kisiangani.
Yes,
so we assume that that's your father's name.
Okay.
Alafu mwingine pia ni professor, as in the coincidences are endless.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
We've always, as in, but I always thought I would inaitwaje? Labda uko in denial mzae wako asichome.
Mzae ni huyo Kisiangani. But you guys, so my dad was up with GBS. In fact, the days when I miss him, me went up kwa hiyo show kumchungulia akiongea, you guys.
No, for real.
Yeah, man.
How does it feel, by the way? Like,
it feels eerie.
Oh.
Yeah? Like you see, the individual is not existing now on this physical plane.
Yeah,
but you can access some of the, you can access moments of those people in this YouTube sphere, in this recorded sphere. So there's that. There's some videos I have. This used to be actually his laptop, His laptop. That's why I'm still keeping it, for sentimental value.
What was your relationship with him?
It was when I was growing up, it was rough, because he used to like beating us up. Okay, he wasn't abusive, but he was a strict dad. So we weren't close. So now when I moved out of the house, ndio nikaanza kumwongelesha the way we are talking here. So he'd tell me about polygamy, about life. We'd laugh. We used to have a tradition of hanging out on New Year. So tuna chill, we'd made a tradition of hanging out. So I started knowing him after I moved out of the house. Like that, he put down that I am a father thing. And then he just became a guy.
Did it help?
Yeah, we became closer now.
As in the fact that he was a strict dad and you weren't close because you felt like he had put a gap. Did you feel like that was a role he was playing as a father, and it served to be to help the person you became?
Yeah, because obviously my character is molded in a certain way, and it's just the way where, you train up a toy, and then when he grows up, he'll not forget. So there are so many aspects of my life which I appreciate that strictness for. But the only thing, I feel like there should be a balance between that strict guy and another phase where you get to know the guy. Because I know people who don't have that chance for flipping the script and saying, now I'm friends with my dad.
Okay.
There's a nephew of mine. I hope his dad didn't watch this podcast, you guys. Yeah? So that nephew of mine, there's a day I happened to meet him together with his dad. And they're not even talking.
It's your nephew?
My nephew. So he's the son of my cousin. So they were just standing next to each other.
Kwani, how distant are you to your cousin that you're introducing him through his son? And in my nephew, like you can't go directly at
you guys
my cousin.
Closer you guys to the nephew than the cousin.
Okay.
So I looked at that relationship, like, this looks like what we used to have in my. I'm not scared, but I can't talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Did you have such a relationship?
Yes.
With your parents? But what happened to you?
I do. We have a relationship.
Your dad is still around, right?
Yes.
And your mom too?
I'm thankful to God for that, yes.
Good. That's good. Shout out to them. You guys, were you guys close? What was the style of upbringing?
I loved my dad to bits, kabisa, from when we were young, because he's the one who didn't used to beat us. Like, our mother was the discipline master. And I think most of the lessons I've learned in life, I've learned from my dad, not by him telling me what or what not to do, but by watching how he handles himself. Yes, mainly.
Where did you grow up?
In Embu.
Oh,
massive. Yes.
Ndio umevaa hiyo shati you guys.
This is a project run by one of the people, most trustworthy gentlemen I know. He used to be our boss at Nation.
Oh, right.
Yes. So he went and set up Embu. He does events there. Like he left the corporate culture.
Alihama Nairobi.
Yes, anaitwa Nick. Good vibes. Very good
guys, shout out to Nick. He's one of those guys wametoka nayo wakaenda wakarudi county.
Yes. Mse wa nguvu sana, by the way. He's a perfect organizer and I think he's as in straight up one of the people nikiwa low I have to call ananisaidianga kuweka vitu straight.
He's one of those guys, eh?
Yes.
But you're very good at looking for, because even when I hang out with you, even from Kitambo, you're very curious.
Yes.
You like prodding. Hata venye ulikama hapo ulikuwa ushanianzia.
Unajua,
I'm like, hey, umjamaa nimemwambia very many things in 2 minutes.
I think by the it's very interesting that you say that, because it was I think that character trait was viewed very negatively when I was growing up.
Because you used to ask questions.
Unakuanga na maswali mingi sana. As in, you have so many questions. But I love it when I see it from on my daughters, and I'm like, oh, this good vibes.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this pal of yours, he's older, right?
Yes.
Have you ever had that story of you have to have 3 friends in your life? You have to have an older guy who you get wisdom from, huh?
Yes.
And then you have to have a peer.
Yes.
Who now you just hang out and bounce to out your problems and your ideas on also.
Yes.
Then you have to have a younger person who you're now, unleashing all this thing you've learned, you're giving it to this young guy.
Yeah, I have very many older friends. One of in fact a person Gor Semelango, people don't know.
He's your buddy, yeah?
Yes. And when I met him, this guy, I think he hangs around different kinds of people, and I think he classifies them vile anajua. There are people who will hang around him for handouts. One of the things I got from him that was life changing was book culture.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Reading.
That guy, he's so smart. Like, ukihang out naye at 1 hour. 1 hour, you can feel the vibe.
But
of course, nimejaluo kwanza.
I'm chuckling because there's another friend. There's a friend of mine, anaitwa Eric. So this guy, he's also a buddy of yours.
God nimejaluo. Number one, when you hang around, one of the things you're likely to get I think he's allergic to poverty. Allergic to poverty, not in that ati anadharau mtu hana pesa. He will make you wanna be something.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Ni ule mtu wae, bro.
You guy go best done alikuwa ananiambia story funny sana about Gore. Alikuwa anasema he has a friend who talks in the third person. Cheki, do you know the car that I bought? This car was bought by Gor Semelan.
Yes. But he deserves it. He deserves it. Alafu ni msero safi sana. Because, first of all, Gor hakosangi kushika simu.
All right.
No matter what. Gor hatakosa kushika simu. That's basically him giving everybody a chance.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, nitashika simu. Na sasa ni wewe udecide. What value do you want to get from mimi kuongea na wewe?
From access, right?
Yes. What value do you want to get from me hanging out with you? Now, I think from my first meeting nikaona vile na wisdom, I needed to know how. Like, niaje hizi vitu zi happen aje. So, and from that, I was set on a journey for discovery for myself. And I think that's one of the greatest impact a single individual has ever had in my life.
So these guys who you're looking up to, do you set up a time? Because you're also really busy. I know running a show is a lot of work. The work you have put in is a lot. So do you set times like, I'll be seeing these guys on Sunday? Do you have a schedule, Lama? It's just random?
No. Not random. Because those people are busy themselves.
True.
I'm like, and I like to do stuff for myself for the most part. Mahali nimekwama where I need clarification, ndio I check out with someone. Like, that's where I'll call Kirwa. Wow. I love Embu. That's why
that's
I'll
Kirwa.
call Ger. Yes.
I know Kirwa, you guys.
You know Kirwa?
Yeah,
Kirwa.
You guys, shout out to Kirwa,
yes,
you guys.
Yes.
Huh?
So when as in, God has helped me create an ecosystem where if you need to talk to someone, by the way, most people don't realize this. People think money solves problems. I think links do. Links do. People underestimate the potential of a human being. Everybody with the right tools can do wonders.
There's something you mentioned about like you said, these guys are busy, so you try solve your stuff on your own. So there's something I've grown up knowing in my mind about access. Like me being able to call you is actually a gift. Like when somebody gives you access, you know, the gift of access. As in, if there are people who can call me, and the fact that I can give you that, you know, that privilege of accessing me, it's actually something you have to treasure and not misuse.
Exactly.
You know, because there's someone who you can call. The way you're saying, if I'm gonna call this guy and he will pick, I have to have thought, Nini, like, am I wasting his time with this phone call? Am I just?
Have you ever had those people? Those people of, niaje? Niko na wase fulani hapa walikuwa wanataka kukusalimia.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So wewe hauna haja na hakuna kitu kingine naweza kusaidia nayo other than kusalimia watu.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really think about it before you pick that call next time.
Yeah,
Sasa
true.
shida ni by the way, I once talked to someone. Someone used to handle me every time. Every time I meet him, nikitoka hapo nje nation. Ni aje? Suni leo baila every day, no matter what. Then one day nikamuuliza, you do realize that mimi siku moja unaweza kuwa in a real emergency where I really should chip in, but labda hata sitaweza kushika simu cause
nafikiria unataka lunch.
Then one day nikakaa naye nikamuuliza what really is the problem. Akaniambia manzi, the money we see get hapa ni kidogo. I get this much, I have 3 kids and I need to fend. So I'm like, so kutoanisha watu hivyo helps you put it together. I was like, no, okay, sawa, now let's do this. Let's do mathematics. Let me show you how it's done. And we did mathematics with him. And I actually gave him the vibe. Yeah, first of all, Nation Circle, one of the most stable circles in the country. Nikamwambia, these are the deeds they offer. And you can start with as low as 2K, right? Nikamuliza, how much will you save ukijikaza sana na hiyo budget yako? Because you also have to make a sacrifice, like ni pesa kidogo. Tukafanya hesabu ikakuwa 5,000 in a month. 5,000 in a year, that's 60K. Ukienda kwa sako pale, cause hapa mali uko, you are, let's say, a security guard kwa restaurant. So if you can, ukijikaza na ufunge mwaka moja, ukwe mwaka ikifunga, you have 60K. That would mean the sako you would qualify for 180,000. 180,000. If you work in a restaurant, you could actually split it to buy 2 motorbikes. Motorbikes tukafanya mpaka hesabu tukaona how much the next year, if he bought 2 motorbikes, how much he would have to pay, how much he would have to keep. Tulifanya naye hesabu, that makes sense. The next time I told him, nilikutana naye hakunitoanisha, alinisalimia akaniambia I bought my first motorbike.
You guy, man, that's polite, you guy, man. Huh?
So I think I now understand what it means. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Some people do things the way they do because they don't know. So I try my best. When I encounter an uncomfortable situation, that's not to mean kila mtu anaweza saidika. There are people who are genuine pain in the nini. So
in the diabs.
Yes, in the diabs. So I try my best. Nikiassess nione, by the way mse ni mtu tu anahitaji kickstart. I spare time. Nikae na mtu chini, share as much knowledge as I have, and then
you guys ulikuwa unafanya nini GBS? You guys,
GBS was a comedy competition, and that's how I met JB Masanduku. And teaming up with him was how we won the final leg of that competition. We were the final champions.
Ilikuwa mwaka gani hiyo?
2010.
But we hadn't
13
met,
years ago.
I don't think we'd met at that time.
No, we hadn't. We met in Kani later.
Much later.
We met in 2014. 2014, 2015. I think that's almost 10 years ago.
So you already said, when did you start writing comedy, you guys?
I started writing in 2010, like officially.
In high school? Were you writing in high school?
No. I wasn't writing in high school. I wasn't doing I didn't know that there's a professional side of comedy in high school. I didn't.
So what made you start writing in 2010?
Because we had a trainer in comedy. Kulikuwa na jamaa anaitwa Mbudhia. He was in Top Comic. We had Sam. But the GBS had some people. Hata Njomo tulikuwa nao akina, Njomo. And there's no way unaweza kuwa umekutana na Njomo. Because Njomo anafanya Kisapere comedy.
Although your jina mazeni family.
komedi yako inaishanga haipitangi Uhuru Highway ukiteremka ipande nyingine ya downtown. There is no chance on earth. So and so as you pick up tips kidogo, and sometimes the industry was rough, but in 2011, ati when we started doing club shows, comedians were walking around with notebooks. Ukisema kitu funny, so you had to really so that and you also know how ideas work. Usipo put down an idea but I think that was a
but now me I'm curious like so what made you decide to start doing stand-up?
I enjoy
because now you didn't have a back. Did you see someone aliku-inspire?
Basket Mouth kwanza.
Uliona hiyo clip yake?
Niliona ile two things involved.
There are two things involved.
That was my first exposure to stand up.
Okay.
Alafu later JB akani-introduce kwa Trevor Noah show yake ya Crazy Normal. But I was like, so I've been doing this thing informally in Embu. One of my highlights. Shout out to Peter Maze. Peter Njero alikuwa amelose mother yake. In 2010 years. Pole sana kwake mazee. So as we were walking home from Setbooks hiyo day, we decided to go see Peter kwao, and I think that was my first ever experience changing a moment. So I was like, Peter, just to encourage him, like me together. It was me, my cast, fellow cast members, Peter, and I think a sibling or two. So I thought instead ya kuja hapa na mastori za washe, just boost his morale nini tukaanza joke. So I stood up and started vibing like informally stand up. And I think that lifted his spirit so much that it touched me too. And then I was like, wow, this is a good vibe. And then when I moved to Nai, I could do it professionally.
So who were you staying with when you came this side? Wazazi walikuwa? No,
pana. Si unajua mimi ni wa Embu massive.
Unajua leo ndio nimejua hiyo story yuga.
Ya Embu? Zi mi kwa I'm an Embu citizen, but
you're an Embian.
Roots zangu ni za Siaya.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, roots zangu ni za Siaya, but I'm a citizen of Embu. So when I moved to Nai kujaribu kushikanisha form, I had to stay with my uncle for some time.
Was he treating you well ama alikuwa anakuchapa usiku yuga?
No.
Cheki mkooshe vyombo wewe.
No.
It was a nice experience.
He did his best. He did his best for the time that I was there.
Did he know what you're doing, like these art things?
He knew, but he did not understand. These are things that even my mom did not understand. My dad did not understand. I think it's zile za kukamna time. Yeah.
So compare mazemka chapa na JB mazemka. You split the check. Did you win money?
Yes. 50-50.
So ulishinda how much you got?
Tuligawana. The prize money was 20K. That was big money. That was big. Hey, bro.
Yeah, true,
that was more money than I'd ever imagined.
At the same
My
time.
friend used to make fun of me when nilikuwa naenda shopping usiku. With this 10K check, I was hoping to start life like get a house. I didn't have a phone. Before then, nilikuwa mzee wa SIM card. I just used to have a SIM card. So I would borrow someone's phone, like a SIM card. I think that cost me my first relationship, partly. So I used to borrow someone. But that was my whole first relationship. I had this girl mwenye nilikuwa tu voicemail. So every time I would go naeka nasikia ameacha message gani. So nilikuwa nena napata tukutane spoti saa 10. Alafu najua I'll be there. As in if she changed her mind, man. Ama if anything came up,
coordination.
That was it. Coordination.
Coordination
massive. Alikuwa na phone. One time I had this embarrassing episode, but we went for a concert and then my boy anakuja alikuwa anauza t-shirts. Alikuwa anauza t-shirts, so nikamwambia I'm hoping to get some money, so nikachukua t-shirt yangu na I'm super.
Okay. Ilikuwa how much t-shirt? So mbili.
So my guy mazee sikuwa nimepata so mbili mazee karibu watotoe t-shirt na msupa kwa soko bana. Ade msupa chip.
Ilibidi
chipin mazee.
You get that was a keeper.
And msupa wako anafungua handbag mazee.
Cheki kwani ni
you guys are being auctioned bana.
Cheki kwani ni how much?
Kwani ni how much? Wacha nikupe.
I'm sure your masculinity ilienda chini by a few points.
Hii mimi ndio nilikuwa msupa hapo bana. Unasema a few points. I was the lady of the relationship.
You guys. So your 10k ulibuy nini?
Hiyo 10k tulienda nilibuy maviatu. Unajua at that time I was in Dandora. Hiyo 10k nilibuy maviatu kadhaa, a few pairs za 150. That time nilikuwa na 50. I bought a few pairs of nilibuy my t-shirt kiasi. Because before then I used to have just one trouser and 2 shirts. So I used to confuse people with the t-shirt.
Sorry, it was black.
Sadly not. So, by the way, it was a black. I got a brown trouser later on. So I used to confuse them people with the t-shirt. So we ukifua hii, unajua hiyo ni ya kesho. Like I was one person who knew what I would wear tomorrow. So sikianga watu wamejipanga, people who know what they will wear tomorrow.
True,
Maybe this morning I used to know what I'll be wearing tomorrow.
Ile t-shirt ingine. So maze hiyo kitu, like I'm sure it could boost like your morale for this comedy thing.
It did, yes.
Because you made some little money. So after hiyo ndio uliingia Kenya Kona nini?
Kenya Kona, I got called by a lady anaitwa Zuleka comedian. Waria, she's amekuwa nini?
She's one of those legends.
Yes. Amekuwa vioja mahakamani pia. She was like, hey maze kuna audition Hilton, come. So I showed up, yes. But before that hata sikuwa na fare ya kuenda.
10k ilikuisha.
Hiyo Kenya Kona ilikuwa 2011 huku tuward nini.
No, I'm just kidding you guys. Tunajua venye unapata dona, you think it lasts your whole life. Chikinta by now keja, alafu utatumia part of it as dowry, alafu pia utalipia watu wangu.
Hey, that time I would have gotten married bana. 10G.
You guys kuna dim flani mazeni ilitoa thou. That chick I was telling you wanted me to marry her. She saw me with a 1,000 shilling note mazee akasema this is the man for me bana.
For real?
Yeah, I was buying for her chips.
But you know umejipanga. You know you're the first comedian to like get married like officially.
You think so? Was I the first?
Yeah, bana. Yeah, tiwaifia man.
But I was also way older than everyone, you guys. So
as in no one would guess kama hujasema. No one would guess kama hujasema.
My what used to save me is I don't know if I still look young now, but I was still looking really young when I met you.
You still as in ni ngumu sana. You can boy hata by the way unaweza ingia high school bado
high school na niko na Monday was white you guys. So Kenya Kona was the next big thing after GBS.
Yep.
Ulikoshaanza ku narrate.
No, Kenya Kona was not the next big thing. We started doing club shows.
Oh, okay.
And again that's one place niliipata encouragement noma sana because I didn't have the microphone techniques. As in sikuwa najua hata kushika mic. As in when I used to hold the microphone sikuwa nasikika. I wasn't confident. People would say that was it confidence or I wasn't aggressive. And I think one of my highlights was when I got on stage. People knew like if you pay attention to what I'm saying, I will kill you. Like itakumaliza kabisa.
In fact, that's what I wanted to ask. Were guys getting your jokes hapo kwa club?
They did, yes. And I think one of my highlights in the moments that pushed me to keep doing this was siku moja nilikuwa club naongea hivyo vile naongea polepole and then some guys were talking walikuwa wanapiga kelele huko nyuma walishautiwa wanyamaze it's like hey can't you see the king is talking as in I remember that moment fresh kwa akili yangu.
No, that's dope because maze back ushika attention yao seni.
But sasa unaona hapo for us it was so organized. There was a team walikuwa naitwa kina Busho, kina Cavs. They had put together a system where we will sell out. People would pay. And time ya comedy ilikuwa comedy. Like people showed up for comedy.
It was a show, man.
Yes, it was a show.
And what the heck are those guys? That is a juicy story, you guys. So kuna wase, man. There are some guys who've done some work huko nje.
They did good work.
So did they used to pay the comedians?
Sasa hii ndio the funny part. They used to pay us 500 bob per show. Na ukipanda mlima unakatwa do.
Ukipanda unakatwa?
Imagine at the payment table unalipa unaambiwa lakini hiyo joke yako ya tatu haikuwa funny. Anakutoa so. Can you imagine?
So it was delivery. Lazima deliver.
You had to be funny.
So you go ukipanda
worst case scenario you're just being given fair bana, you're not funny today.
So it wasn't consistent at you say anawanga aliwa last week.
Kuna wase walikuwa consistent. kuna wase walikuwa
Mlikuwa
consistent.
mnachapa hizo show na kina nani? Kina YY?
No. YY was not on the scene then. Mimi na Sleepy tulijoin at the same time. Tulikuwa na boy anaitwa Nick D, tulikuwa na boy anaitwa Awise, tulikuwa na nani mwingine? Akina Thulu were there. Owago.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So after what happened next? What was the next thing after that? Was it now the Kenya Con?
Kenya Con was next now.
Na ulikuwa ushaanza kuna rate plays za Sami?
Plays za Sami nilianza kuna rate after I first did the first hot seat. The first hot seat which was in August 31st, 2013. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting, man. Na Sami alikuwa na Kenya Con?
No. Sami hakunionea Kenya Con.
To be honest, me the first time I saw you was at those Kenya Con clips.
Sami hakunionea Kenya Con. Sami ilikuwa niliitwa tu by then niliitwa juu ya Kenya Con, but sijui Sami alinionea wapi, but I think ilikuwa tu ile akina Ndenga walisema hebu acha niende huko
the recommendation.
And it was interesting that around that time I had been doing 5 minutes 10 minute stops sana, so I was called for an hour. I liked the challenge, so I went.
To do hot seat now. Hey, how did it go, man?
Hey, it was good.
It was good, huh?
Yeah, it was good.
Hey, so you guys, that's
hot seat was a good experience.
You guys may have saw your clip at Kenya Con. I was like, who the heck is this nigga? You guys ulikuwa unavanga koti bana ya white.
Hapo ni Sheriff aliniuza bana. Sheriff was our director. alikuwa ndiye alikuwa na tu. But the Kenya Con was so organized. Kenya Con was so organized in that after a performance, you used to get an email with detailed feedback on how your show was and areas you need to improve.
Seriously?
An email. I still have those emails today. And the director was Sheriff. He did some good work. Alitusaidia sana by the way. Up until now, he calls me up with ideas for what we can do on the weekend edition, guest show concepts.
You never lost touch, eh?
No.
Where is he now, that Sheriff guy?
Sheriff used to be big on adverts, but I don't know specifically. But the brains behind Kenya Con ni Cedric, and it was Cedric Kuloba. And there was Mshamba too. And I don't know the stake that Jalas na Captain Otoyo walikuwa nayo.
Maybe I'm sure their stake went up as they became better hosts. Because that really portrayed them as really good hosts.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
It was a really lively show, man. You are one of the stars on that Kenya Con, to be honest, no?
One of the stars? Yeah,
like when you were ule showstopper.
No.
Check it, and now, ladies and gentlemen, check it out.
No, I think the only feat neza claim from Kenya Con was I was the only comedian who did every single show ya Kenya Con. And for me it's a blessing because it's a show that I probably wouldn't even have gotten on. That show inakuanga na, it carries the lesson for me. Yeah, the moments where you think you're not qualified for something, but then you get the chance and you do it and it opens more doors for you. And it also gives me moments. Ile wakati unakanga unapiga ma reflections were like, oh, the chances that I wouldn't if I missed, I think sikuwa na ingine.
Yeah. But I think everything someone is going through, especially if you have a goal, inakuanga two stepping stone fulani.
And the beauty of that is it confirms that you'll never know unless you try.
You just need to just get out there and try something, you guys.
Yep.
Don't just hang around, bana. So another thing which I've always been curious about is yes, you used to come to Churchill show, but your mind wasn't really there, you guys. Like you used to come unachapa moja alafu unaishia, you guys, alafu unakam unachapa ingine. Was that a conscious thing ama that was the time you're trying to open your path into TV?
No. If I wanted to actually to build a brand from Churchill show, I would have set out to do that from when Churchill show came back. But my plans with comedy were different. I had made an observation, and also first there's an observation I had made, and number two, I wanted to test myself. You see, Ilea, as a comedian, how diverse are you? Someone will say like maybe a Kenya Con audience is easy for you from familiarity. there was this thing ati kuna audience ya Kenya Kona, kuna audience ya Churchill Show. How would I fare in a Churchill Show audience? How would I fare in a Heartstrings audience? Because different profiles of people show up for these events. So I think that was what I did with Churchill Show. But I didn't want to create a brand from Churchill Show. Alafu, I also had my own things going behind the scenes, and I also had my eye on the target. And I think there was a time here when I was tempted to do Churchill Show, like longer versions. I was given an option. Yeah. That was when I had started the gig, writing for Okina Captain Toyo on Nation. And they were like, you need to choose.
Offside, huh?
Offside, yes. You need to choose. Are you going to write this show, or you're going to perform on Churchill Show? And I thought, I was like, if I'm inside, if I'm at Nation, it's easier for me to pitch a show from inside than...
So you had already thought of your own show while you're writing this show for these other guys?
Yes.
Yes, you guys, that's interesting, you guys.
From Embu, when I left Embu, I told my friend, one of my friends, that I'm going to have a show on TV.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
As you're packing your 2 t-shirts? Ukikuja hizo shati mbili. Cheki, bro, unajua mimi kwa show.
And I think it's a dream that got realized 6 years later.
Yes. So you guys, when you were, like how intense was that writing for these guys? Was it?
It was very intense.
Were you very busy?
Yes. From Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
There are times that I used to sleep because you're figuring out something that you don't know. And I think I had interacted with text at that point. Yeah, when someone gives you a responsibility that you remotely suspect you can do, when you get the question of, do you know how to do this? Say yes and learn in the process. So that was it for me.
You guys kuna Buddha. You know, my dad was always trying to get me out of art into other things.
Into what?
Into other things.
Mbona utaki kusema hizo other things?
No, si ndio nakwambia hiyo story. So kuna siku alikuwa amesema ameongelesha kuna fruit fly fulani just flying near the mic.
Which fruit is it? Machungwa.
So you guy, there's a day ameniambia ameongea na governor wa Bungoma, sijui niende niishi Bungoma, you guy. I'm like, you guy, I don't want that. Yeah? So now there's another time I was with him and this guy who works at Sherry House. It was a big show tuko ndani. So alikuwa ananiambia, all of a sudden he just turned to me and told me, can you do landscaping? Thinking me, I can't, but in retrospect, look, I think that's what you're saying. If I said yes, I would have gone and gotten someone who knows how to do it. I don't know, man. But the reason I said no clearly was I knew that question was from my dad or something.
Yes.
You're trying to get me out of what I want to into his own.
You can't blame them. You can't blame them, because even you, if you had a child, it would be very easy to try to direct them into a tried and tested path.
Yeah.
I also had the same experience with my parents. Not my dad specifically, but my mom really wanted me to get a job where I could get paid. The idea of stability, the idea of you get something at the end of the month. And I understand where parents come from.
Yeah, true, man. Because to be honest, it's the process before you become stable for art in Kenya. It's quite.
Yeah.
It's not smooth, you guys, man.
It's a long process.
So unasema 6 days a week ulikuwa na
7
grinding.
7 days a week. Yeah.
I remember I used to call you mazee upatikani bana. Bana mimi niko Nation bana. Unaweza come Nation. Actually used to come huko kutafuta ungumu. Actually you're the one uliniingisha Nation for the first time.
The first time.
Yeah, man.
But sasa unajua unaweza ingia vile unataka.
See you guys. Hawanijui bana.
Hapana.
So, how is it writing for guys? Were they executing your jokes to your perfection?
I think in Kenya, in terms of writing for someone, I appreciate the chance to learn in the process. But unajua Captain Otoyo anakuanga steamer bana. He may not on top of what you write, he goes extra. Na ule kwanza akikupata vibaya can kill you with laughter bana.
Umseni beast, you guys. But have you seen how guys have worked hard to get where they are, man? Like look at Obina, for example. Obina has done so many things to get where he is right now. Like people have worked really hard, man.
Yes, Obina, I think I would describe him as a survivor. He keeps reinventing himself. He keeps like he's the epitome of regeneration. Like he has reinvented himself over and over and over again.
And he's one of the guys who also didn't come out of the typical Churchill show. He just used to come once, and
you know, I know him originally as a musician.
Oh, he used to be a rapper,
yes,
that guy.
Yes, yes. He used to be a musician. Not a rapper, a dancehall guy.
Oh, yeah. Ilikuwa msee wa dancehall.
I think Obina was the first person I saw in a mohawk, like his patient zero of mohawk. And he used to wear them Supra. Unajua Supra? You don't remember Supra?
Guy.
Don't remember Supra?
Zio.
The shoes flani zilikuwa sijui purple, alafu inakuja inafika mpaka hapa.
Oh, zilikuwa
they look
zinaitwa
like
Supra.
they've been baked. Yeah.
You guys, I don't know those, you guys. So after, were you also writing with the Nani, Desagu?
Yes. Yeah, very intelligent fella, by the way.
You guys, where do you guys meet? Kenya Kona?
Desagu, where did I meet Desagu? Was it Churchill show? By then, now that you mentioned, I don't remember where I met Desagu, but I know him for long. Either it was Churchill show, uko hanging out, and we
clicked,
kabisa.
Because most of the shows you used to write and used to call him, right?
Yes.
Like most of the gigs ulikuwa unaniambia ukiitwa kuwrite ulikuwa pia unamcall.
No. See, for the moment, from the time tuliingia Nation, I think we joined with him now.
Or you joined together?
Yes, we joined together. Yes.
So after Offside, what happened next? Sendi ukaanza kuingia the trend?
Yes. After Offside, I was absorbed on the trend. And then after the trend, now I started the Wicked Edition. Yes.
That first show, how did you feel about it, you guys? I remember
on
that
the
show.
Wicked Edition?
No, on the trend. Ile Wicked Edition, yeah, trend. Ile original.
Hiyo ilikuwa ilikam, I think an year after I had done the trend behind the scenes.
Ulikuwa una produce?
I was producing the trend and writing the scripts. And I think that was my, next level process for like writing read them scripts for TV. Yes.
Oh, are you the one who was writing those captions over there?
Hiyo kitambo when Larry was there, yes.
Yeah. You guys, hizo captions zilikuwa zinaweza. Those guys gave you guys creative freedom to play around with this thing.
And I think that's why we have survived at Nation for too long. As in, we don't have interference here. By the way, sema, we fanya. We've had some times almost inaenda, but over time doing it for too long, ama for some time, unajua, but they don't usiende side.
So that day when you're doing that show now on Larry's show, did you feel pressure ama ilikuwa tu going with the flow?
There's a lot that was going on behind the scenes, sana getting to do the pilot, the confirmation of whether that thing is going to air or not.
On the trend. So did they see that along the work? What's the story behind it's transitioning from hapo kwa show ya Larry alafu sasa ikakuwa standalone?
Linus Kaikai. When he saw that as a segment, he was like, he called immediately. Akasema, that's not a segment. That should be a TV show. Yes. And the team that was there, Kina Jamila Mohammed, set us straight to it becoming a TV show.
So you set up writers, nini? Who are your first team? Who are you working with?
Tulikuwa na Sami Mwangi as a director, tulikuwa na Lawrence Morage, tulikuwa na Tosh, Anthony Ndongo, tulikuwa na Ndenga, tulikuwa na Kwach.
Even me, I've ever been a writer on that thing of yours. You guys, you've got a few comedians who injure you guys.
No, I can't. Pana.
No, as in not you, not you, as in that structure. You see, the goodness with comedy.
You came.
Yeah, the time I used to come. You don't remember hata nilikuwa na come, tunakaa huko nyuma kwa kabla uingie
show. But not atukufika the official.
No. We just used to share ideas and stuff. But one of the things I've realized with comedy and art is it's a very symbiotic relationship. And then your friend can get to a certain level, and just because you guys have had this relationship, you get an opportunity. So it's always nice when people around you start going up.
Yes.
Because when this guy goes up, he'll go up with the people he knows. Ushaona hiyo story ya Trevor Noah alienda Daily Show na Waafrika wake kadhaa hivi?
He did.
Yeah.
He comes across as a very cool person, like akaimse wa kutoka wase, I think.
Kuna boy fulani anaitwa David Kibuka. So he went to David Kibuka. David Kibuka was his pal in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then akiwa huko, he met Chris Rock, who told him, is it Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle? They said, come with guys who you vibe with. So you got another Ugandan, but a Tanzania. He came with another Ugandan. He met that Ugandan there, but he also added him on the writers panel. How important is that for you? Do you love it working with your fellow comics, or because most of your team are people you've been working with before, right? Kina Kwach, kina
Tom Daktari.
Hey, Tom Daktari alikuja lini akaanza kuwa writer?
Tom actually, I sent out a public call for people who would be interested in writing for TV. I received very many videos, and I took the effort of checking them out. So now, Tom's video was very, very simple.
Oh, he also sent a video.
15 seconds, yes. He sent me a 15 seconds video, which was brilliantly done. And we've been with him ever since. I think 3 years now.
Oh. He was actually here on the podcast by the way.
Tom is funny, man. I'll story when he started his eggs business. And he invested in him ya kugonga hivi. They ate like 2 crates with his brother. At night. Wako tu hivi. Ndio zisiharibike. Like the whole night. But they didn't sell anything. And bana, ukijipata in the wrong place. Toma kupigia hiyo story. But they gongeana mayai with his brother. What is the dish? Usiku man. Imagine crate mbili.
Azikuuza?
Crate mbili.
You guys.
I think he sold 1 egg. So
serious. That is sad.
So they ate the rest. Lazima akaingia tena kwa machungwa. Bro.
Ilipanda mlima mbaya. You guys
Tom, there's a lot of vitamins in Tom. I don't think he needs to eat any oranges.
Not his beard is so healthy, you guys.
But I think that's how he fertilized his beard.
Yeah, but that beard.
Billy, but in one night. You don't need to eat eggs for the next like 4 years.
And then you guys, can you imagine what that will do to your breath, you guys? You guys, egg breath back to back.
Man.
Wait, so who's been your favorite guest? I know you've had many guests. Who's been your guest who's always like made an impact even beyond the show? Upper Wicked Edition.
Bro,
do you have any like that?
I have sat down with over 300 people.
Damn.
And I think we've only had 1 or 2 episodes that we are like, I think like 2 episodes that have never seen light of the day because we just cancelled them. Just 2 out of over 300. And when I tell you that this show has a life of its own, I also learn every day. So if I would be a liar if I would go back in my head alafu nikutolee mse fulani out of over 300 nikwambia ati
But one of the guests I enjoyed seeing on your show is Pastor T. He's a very interesting guy.
Pastor T, by the way, away from just being a pastor, he's a proper mentor. Pastor T is also a person mwenye unaweza mcall na a situation that you're going through in real life. Wachana na ati praise God. It's just someone who has life experience. When you mnaweza ongea one on one, akuchanue. That guy is a star.
Yeah. Do you go to did you meet in the comedy circles or no?
No, I just called him. We were like, we needed to I think the first time we needed to have a conversation on your story at church and gospel and stuff. And like, when we were brainstorming for who would be the best person to represent on that topic, and it was like Pastor T, and our friendship hit off from him. We just called him for one show and then
like that guy is I think, I don't know if I saw him properly on doing that stuff on your show for the first time.
What?
I find him to be deep.
He is very
like deep. His knowledge is not just surface head knowledge.
He is very deep.
He's ni mtu amesoma vitabu bana.
Yep.
I think he's doing a masters or something ujama.
I don't know about that, but najua ni deep sana na ni msharp. Alafu at least anaweza kuja kwa kitu yote na open mind.
Chris Kirubi was also a great guest.
Yes, he was. And kwanza yeye it's funny how I tried to reach Chris Kirubi through a guest I had brought on the show. I was like, niaje inside na number ya Chris Kirubi. Like, hey, no, I can't give you that.
Oh, the person had the number.
Iwezi. And then I was like, and I've done that enough times. Like, when you ask for someone's number, especially na una ask from someone who's a peer who knows nini directly, it's not like unataka kumtoanisha ama unatafuta nini. By the way, I just called him directly. He came.
Yeah, I remember I was there for that show.
Mwambie ni aje poa, tunafanya hii show nini. He came. And from then he used to call like every day, no, not every day, for the next 2 weeks after that show. We used to talk as in, anaweza kupigia tu simu random like hey ni aje, uliona vile show imeweza.
Alisema hivyo. No, I remember him. There's a question you asked him, like, how much do you have in your pocket right now?
No, he's the one who asked.
Oh, he's the one.
You should never walk without money in your pocket.
Yeah, then he wanted some money, you guy. No, but that guy was rich. Huh? Do you think there's a verse in the Bible, you guy? It says the way, if you're not married, stay unmarried. Unless you have a problem. I'm butchering the quote, but it says if you can stay without a chick, you just stay without a chick, unless you're super horny. So,
but then again, that's misleading. If you have to look for a chick just because you're horny, bana.
So, do you think some of his success came from his sort of single life?
No, who would say for sure that you know? No, his life, as in like,
no, as in me, I'm just talking from the public knowledge sphere.
I think it would be inaccurate to judge someone from the public knowledge. No. It would be very unfair because you don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. That's why I started
did he have children?
He did.
Exactly. So you don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know.
There's this guy Elon Musk. He says when he's dating someone, he normally tells them that they'll only access him for 2 hours. You guys. In a week.
For 2 hours.
As in the time allocated for relationship, 2 hours.
That's good vibes. We had one of the manosphere coaches in this country, anaitwaje, anaitwaje, the episode ya nani Silas Nyanchwani. He has a very nice book inaitwa Man About Town. If you can get time, grab a copy. Bigger stories of my escapades, of my dem. I asked him something about long distance relationship. And I bring this up in the context of the amount of time you can allocate for a relationship. Akasema, the minimum people in a long distance relationship is 4. So, alafu he made a joke.
The minimum? Say that again.
The minimum number of people in a successful long distance relationship is at least 4 people. So, alafu akamake joke. Akasema wale wase wako majuu, si ndio tunachill na wasupa wao. So, if you're in a relationship and all you can give is 2 hours, sama vijana kina Kivona 22 hours moto.
You go kina papa. No, I'm always curious about those things. Like the balance between success and like a successful enterprise and also having a successful family. So most of the time you see one thing seems to be losing out. Like look at even Bill Gates. Bill Gates had a very successful run. Then in the end, you had to get the big D.
I think it's all about
and it's
the values of family have changed. The reasons why people are together keep changing with time, mainly because of the world we live in. Number one, access, options, and stuff. So if you ask me, it depends on who you team up with. It depends on who you team up with. If you team up with someone who compliments you, you can't afford to let them go. But if you ukijaribu tu ile ya kutry at making decisions based on your level of honey, then one or another you're bound to.
But now a guy who's getting into a relationship should know it's very different from those days. As in this ideal picture of what a woman should do and what a guy should do. Right now, it's very different. Right now, relationships are very Western.
If you get into a relationship with the mentality of what a guy is supposed to do and what a girl is supposed to do, I am inclined to believe that you're bound to fail.
Yeah, I think so too, man.
If you enter into a relationship based on this is what value I can bring to you, this is what value you can bring to me. I think attachments are the leading cause of depression, if you ask me. People are free spirits, right? People are free spirits. And if you can if you can be in a relationship and don't feel like you're tied down. Well, I saw a very beautiful analogy. Like kitambo, parents used to be very strict. They chunga ladies so much, like unachungwa when you're in your 20s. Women used to get to be married, the ripe marriage age was 20. But before you get there, you've been clamped down, like your parent knows where you are anytime. And then this woman really is looking forward to the freedom of just doing what she wants. And that most women thought was marriage. Like you go to your man, you escape from the prison of your parents, not knowing that you've just joined another prison where you don't even have control of your body. Like, I want children, you cook for me, you do this. So, and then when people taste freedom, like when women taste freedom, when women started getting jobs, started being allowed to work, and I think that's when the world experienced what they called the divorce revolution. People are just people. Like you as a person, hawezi fungiwa kwa hii nyumba and hope to be here as in, the reason why you're enjoying being here now is the thought that when you want to leave, you will leave.
Yeah, true. You have that option.
Yes. If someone locks that door and says that, Manu, you're not leaving this place for the next 6 months, this will be the most uncomfortable space you've ever been in your life.
Yes. True. Yeah. That's why I think sometimes when I look at people like Oprah, see, Oprah has this partnership thing going on with her Jama. The guy is called Stedman.
Yes.
And it seems to be working, man. Like the idea that this is not a formal reunion.
Like steady, like...
I think
that's an interesting coincidence.
So Stedman, you guy and Oprah maze wako na partnership, and they've been going strong for quite a while. So I feel like what you're saying is like, it's a mind trick. Like your mind is telling you, I'm locked into this thing. Why did I sign this thing? Me, I want out. And then when you get out, you're like, I miss being back in there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So maybe that loose arrangement of partnership is what can work, you guys.
Look at it this way, like the human mind construct. People are obsessed with owning. Like, niaje, you want your house. Well, Kwanza, you are the first you are the first comedian to build your own house. How long did it take before your nyumba ikubo? You're like...
After around 6 months, I'd lost the...
And you're like... Nah.
There's a high you get while building.
Yes.
Then now when you move in, you're like, mbona niko kite ni far.
Exactly. You start seeing other. But I'm like, depending on the goals that you have with a person, let's say, for example, I have this woman and they complement me career-wise, right? Even before you get to the children, wachana na children. Like, niaje, there's value add to me being a better person, and I also add the same value to you. So you see, it's very hard to notice distractions. Like, the threshold for someone else to impress you is very high. So you're able to be together because of common interests. Marriage is politics. Marriage is a political decision, political and economical. Mostly economical, but also very political. When you approach it from that perspective, I believe you can have a lot of success in that area.
So you guys, no, that convo is quite interesting because even, and I feel like also you need to learn also that is something that happens. So you have to be content. Okay, so like for me, for example, one of the things today I ran out of those black shirts. I just said I'm gonna start wearing black shirts. Like I'll just be wearing black shirts, black pants. Like it has simplified my wardrobe and the time I spend looking for things.
Yes.
So even when you buy a car, there's always another car which will look better than your car. You get so you just get content with the thing that you have and you take care of it.
Is it Barry Schwartz who put that together in a concept called the paradox of choice? And I think that explains a lot of things people are struggling with today. I'll give you an example that I give my friends. If I gave you 100,000 and told you to go get the best smartphone you can get, when you go to the market and ask for a smartphone that you can spend 100,000 on, you'll have an array of choice. You'll have an Apple, you have a Samsung, you'll have You'll have Xiaomi. You'll have you'll have all those phones. Like you can have at 20 brands of phones that can give you the same capabilities and the same value, right? Eventually, you'll have to buy one, right? But the one you buy, you'll not be satisfied about. When you get the iPhone and go home, you'll be like, I should have gotten the Samsung, right? Choice beyond a certain point spoils the enjoyment of what you choose. If you have more options past a certain point, spoil the value you get, you can squeeze in from the choice you made. That's why you can get a chick and you're like, she's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but just the thought that, or you could have gotten someone better, you'll never be satisfied by the value that this one person brings. So after if you find like a small fault, that explains why in relationships, actually, from that lecture that he gave, most people nowadays are not patient enough to work things out with the people they have. They would rather go look for someone else.
Yeah, true. And then also, that's quite interesting. And then also, like, I think it's the same thing now, the way we have access to so much information. Huh?
Yep.
But no one is really, pursuing specific information.
Yep.
We have access. We have a huge, like, you can access any info that you want right now. But most of the time, people are, they just want to scroll and look at a thing for a minute.
It's messing up with people, even from an evolutionary perspective, because even the screen time. There was this experiment where a certain teacher was talking about. There's a book she enjoyed teaching so much, and people loved reading. The students, the pupils loved reading so much. But over a certain period, she noticed that students were not interested. They were struggling to go past 2 pages of that book. And the deduction was text messaging has gotten the brain to a place where the book is now boring. You like your information in short doses and you're right to the point. And one way or another, this affects memory. Like Kitambo, you used to have people's numbers in mind. Like you could pick up your phone and dial the number directly.
Yes.
Nowadays, how many people's numbers do you have?
Sure, You stopped using that muscle.
You've stopped using your brain. But I think that was
even with like sometimes I can put a movie in cinema now. Even watching a movie has become a discipline act.
Yes.
So like Avatar, I don't know if you've watched Avatar. I'm an Avatar fan.
Yes.
So the latest one, I've been trying to watch it. And it has taken me how many months to finish that movie. So what happens is I put it on and then I just start scrolling things on my phone, you guys.
Yes.
Or I fall asleep. One of the two.
Yes.
I think it actually has affected attention span.
It is affecting.
One of the things I was planning to do, because I was watching there's a guy called David Goggins. You're saying him when he's going...
The Marine.
Yeah, the Marine.
Yes.
So you're saying, like you see our meeting over here. So if I'm coming to meet you or anyone else, he'd leave his phone in the car. So that when he comes up for the meeting, the podcast, whatever they're doing, his whole mind is there, you guys.
But that depends on where you've parked the car. Was it like kutembelea mkukayole you'll be arrested yourself for putting thieves into temptation. So I think there's something like that. When a crime is committed, they would actually blame you at some point. There's professional victim blaming. I don't know the name for that. Like, what did you, as in, where ulijaribu mwizi na hiyo simu? Like, where was your phone?
Ulimtempt.
Yes.
That is funny, you guys. You guys, do you know it's illegal to drive a dirty car in town?
A dirty car? No, the bylaws.
Haufai kuwa na gari chafu.
Unajua, there was a time we touched on that topic of bylaws. There was a time it was even illegal to wash your own car. In fact, I think it's illegal. I don't know whether they repealed that part.
So what was
there's some comedy in the city bylaws. Where?
It's illegal to wash your own car?
Yes.
Because unatumia maji ya kanjo?
Yes, quite story.
So what are you supposed to do? Take it to the car wash?
I think so.
Actually, even a dog, you have to have a license for a dog.
Alafu pia, it's illegal to walk around without money. Like, you have to have at least 200 shillings.
You're not supposed to
the
cause,
bylaws.
Yeah. So it's cause now maybe when mwizi. Like what's the thought behind that, you guys?
I don't know.
Do you think some of those bylaws are still colonial?
They are. Some of the laws that we have in the country are still colonial.
Have they updated them, you guys?
Who cares?
You guys, my one of my relads works for the prosecution service. Huh?
Yeah.
So he was telling me there are many young people in jail, and the main reason is they're ignorant. Like most of them, if you do a survey, they've never finished. Some haven't finished school, so some just dropped out and bought a picky and just start riding. But they don't have a lot of knowledge. So they do stupid things that end them up in jail for a very long time.
A lot of people.
Unaweza pata mazee msee akona anakatia tu dem mwenye ako high school. Like he's ignorant of the fact that can put you in some serious problems.
Ushago unajua, people don't know that that's rape actually. Yeah. People don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know where people get that kwanza high school teachers man. Ma teachers wa shule za madem kuna wengine are very indisciplined actually.
Did you see that new law? I don't know if it passed, that when someone who's under 18 sleeps with a boy who's under 18 sleeps with a chick who's under 18, that they shouldn't go to jail. There was a debate around that story.
I don't know.
I think they're going to jail seriously.
I'm supposed to follow up on that conversation. I got feedback. Someone said that they would really be interested to hear from someone in the judicial service about the threshold for rape for underage boys, because most young men are in jail for your rape kwa sababu tu ya bro.
And walikuwa tu wanakulana.
Na wote ni watu yeah.
So mother dem anakama anasema, "Oh boy amekula mtwe wangu, you guys."
Yep.
Mazee, your son goes to jail, you guys.
Yep.
But you guys, they need to update these laws, you guys. Yeah? For example, if you steal, say, 1 billion shillings in Kenya, and a guy who goes and steals a chicken, was it that guy for chicken? Was it atakipata, you guys? Because the laws were designed to make the natives, control the natives.
No, not to control. I think the science here is the guy who steals 1 billion was once a chicken thief. So you arrest them, nip them in the bud. The one who steals 1 billion is one that got away. Yeah. He's a full-blown thief now.
You guys, the one that got away. So you guys, as we are winding this thing up, longer episodes, weekend edition, are we gonna see those?
Longer episodes on TV now. We are at 24 minutes real time. We would wish to do them longer, but the time allocated on set.
No, I'm talking about online. Studio. How about online?
Online, we have longer versions. Yes. We do.
Do you do an hour? In fact, plus?
We have set out to upload the shows that we never uploaded in full. We've started uploading them now. Yes.
How's the response? Guys are loving it. Eh?
It's interesting that the feedback I'm getting is that some of the shows we've done, we have a lot of people who've never even seen.
For real?
Yes.
So do you think like a lot of your traditional TV market is shifting online?
Not necessarily. I think I think there are people who are exclusively online, because I've met people who've never seen the Wicked Edition on TV, and I've met people who've never seen the Wicked Edition online. Yes.
So it's a mix and match.
But
do you think there's generally a shift from the current terrestrial like broadcast to?
Of course, yes. Depending on internet penetration, people appointment viewing is slowing down. Like I remember there was a time when people used to rush. People used to rush home for shows.
Yeah, I remember Churchill show on Thursdays. Kulikuwa ridiculous on Sunday.
Yes.
So that has changed.
Yes.
Because you can just access it on the day you feel like.
Yes, and the time you feel like.
How do you think media houses should adapt to those things, you guys?
How media houses should adapt to those things?
Adapt to... Because they also have the biggest channels online. Huh?
They do, yes, but you see, media houses are also online, so they are also keeping up with the times.
I feel like one of the ways to adapt, and sadly, sad to say, is they'll have to reduce the number of people doing things. Like, you see, if you can have one guy who will just go with his iPhone to an event that's happening, say in Nakuru, and broadcast it live using the phone. I don't know how.
No, they should increase the number of people doing things. Instead of just having just having one person, as in 3 people going to Nakuru, have one person in Nakuru, have one person in Eldama Ravine, have one person in Embu. Cover, as in increase coverage. Like if what used to come on the news is Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa alone, let's have the 47 counties.
But you see, if you adapt to using, say, a nice phone rather than... The reason I was saying it reduce people is maybe they're going with a big van so that they go live and stuff. So this other guy who has some little equipment is moving faster.
Let's see how that pans out. The shifts in the industry.
No, but I wish you all the best, man. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you,
I know you have to run. I'm sure people are going to say, "Hii kitu mbona ni short TV?"
Yeah,
bana, you guys. See, you're more fully chapa 3 hours.
Hey, I'm off to Dongea.
Mwafu achezangi na magest, you guy.
3 hours.
Mwafu atakunyonya all the info, you guy.
No,
check it. So, as a seaman, ulifeel aje kikimbia towards the ovary? No, but shout out to Mwafu. Mwafu has been one of the biggest supporters of this podcast.
Good vibes. By the way, it was an interesting conversation. It was fun vibing with them. Yes.
So, I'll call you back when you have more time to if we can... just talk about some of these topics.
Happy to come back.
Yeah. So good to have you, man.
Asante for inviting me.
All right.
Cheers.